There we go. You get it? Can you feel the end times? Can you feel? I'm going to use this as long as I have it there. Can you feel it? The United States Department of State has declared emergency authorization for temporary duty-free importation of phosphate fertilizer from Morocco. So, in response to something, you can probably guess what, the State Department finds it necessary to do an emergency import, tariff-free, of fertilizer. I wonder why. In order to ensure a stable food supply, predictable and timely sources of phosphate fertilizer must be procured to meet U.S. demand, which requires adequate supply of phosphate fertilizer, a critical type of plant food. Global supply chains for phosphate fertilizer and fertilizer inputs, including imports of such products. Jesus Christ, the White House page is fucking pop-ups now. Among other things, conflicts in fertilizer-producing regions, as well as trade actions taken by major fertilizer-producing countries, have disrupted fertilizer imports. It's a declaration of emergency. That's really, really, really not good. In addition to that, if my understanding is correct, we're actually looking at the lowest harvest of corn in the past 150 years this year. Let me see if I can find that chart. And America loves to produce corn. We're at the lowest. Let me see. Can I find that? Can somebody find that chart? I literally saw it earlier today. Harvest each year chart. I'm looking. I can't find it. It's fucking over. Well, one of you will find it, I assume. We're low on corn because of soy prices driving down rotation motivators. I'm not a farmer. Maybe Kowalski can clarify. All I do know is that it's significant if the Department of State is declaring a state of emergency over it. That's a little bit grim. We are going to be seeing famine. They also approved 2 fluorine-based fertilizers. Yes! Trump EPA approves its 5th forever chemical pesticide. These pesticides they're approving have never been used in the United States before. That's right. We're not just going back to like the 70s or whatever. We're talking about fertilizers that are so toxic to the environment that they have never been allowed to be used here before. Ain't that something? This is the 5th PFAS pesticide approved under Trump in less than 2 years in office. Here we go. U.S. to harvest the fewest wheat, not corn, wheat, my apologies, wheat acres in 149 years. This is actually worse because corn for the most part is used for animal feed or ethanol. But wheat, I think that's a food. Yeah, as you can see, we're looking at a bit of a decline. Now, the decline has been an ongoing process for a while, but the drop between 2025 and 2026 is particularly sharp right here. And this is, keep in mind, before the fertilizer shortages have actually hit. No, this one says corn too. Oh, never mind. It's both. Last year was the worst corn season. Oh, no. This is from 2012. Read your damn sources. Read your links. Just wheat then. We're talking about wheat right now. Back in Linker jail. Don't forget we're getting gang-banged on screwworm right now. Yeah, that's more of an animal agriculture thing. Farmers are pro-free trade now? What? What are you talking about?
About not making things worse. As the U.S., Mexico, and Canada negotiate over continuation of their 3-way trade agreement, U.S. farmers look on with apprehension. They've already been hit hard by troubled export markets elsewhere in the world, particularly to China.
Our farmers are true patriots. Because China and others have targeted, China had others, remember this, have targeted.
Is something I think about daily. It's something I think a lot about in the dark of night that keeps me up. We have to find a way going forward, and we've kind of been operating on hope the last few years. That hope is starting to dwindle.
Swanson is a corn, soy, and pig farmer, and on the board of the Iowa Corn Growers Association. We met him a year ago on his farm amid a tough period for the agriculture industry.
This is not specifically about the wheat. This is about like farming in general, and we know farming's not doing very well right now. I mostly want to focus on the fact that the president of the United States is literally declaring a state of emergency over this and is waiving tariffs on imports. You know how much he loves his tariffs. It's really, really, really not good. Currently, U.S. production of phosphate fertilizer is insufficient to support domestic agricultural food production after accounting for exports. I mean, if it's this bad over here in the wealthiest country in the world, imagine the many, many, many poorer countries who are also suffering from fertilizer shortages right now, but don't have the option to just, buy it anyway. Therefore, I, Donald J. Trump, by the authority vested in me by the Constitution, which we respect very much, declare an emergency to exist with the threats to availability of fertilizer. Video about Lake Powell and the Colorado River. Okay, I don't know what this is about specifically, but I do appreciate the tone of the title. It's already dead, they just won't admit it.
This year is shaping up to be the driest year on record. And for a reservoir that's already struggling mightily, that is certain to be the death blow that finally takes out Lake Powell. Right now, there is no margin for error with Lake Powell. And once the water level drops a couple more feet, everything changes for water users here in the Southwest.
This crisis is like we are on the doorstep right now.
This is the blockade that keeps boats from getting too close to the dam. And this is the chain supporting it. And this is actually where it's supposed to be. This is the intended lake level. Yeah, that is so far down there.
The consequences are so big and the timeline is so immediate that we should be having this process now.
Now, about 14 months ago, I made a very similar video, but in fact, things have been so dire.
This is slightly off topic, I'm sorry. All climate change stuff is related to itself, so you can kind of spiral out into a bunch of different topics. For instance, I didn't really have like a specific point during stream that I wanted to show this chart, the one where the Mediterranean sea surface temperatures have gotten so high that this person ran out of colors for the chart. Look at this. Significant parts of the Mediterranean around Italy and the southern coast of France are reaching 10 degrees Fahrenheit higher than their average temperatures for this time period, Yeah, we're getting some clipping at the upper bounds there. Not great. Not great, Bob. U.S. Strategic Petroleum Reserve drops to 331 million barrels. Whoo, baby. Look at how quickly it's being depleted versus how slowly it's being filled up. A longer view that starts at 0 on the y-axis. Thank you. Not going to be long. Not going to be long. Keep in mind that we're going to hit the strategic floor for petroleum long before we exhaust the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. We're also running out of the commercial inventory, not just the Strategic Petroleum Reserve run by the government. Trump said we had 4 weeks until it was out. Trump was Trump was repeating what he had heard, and what he had heard was a claim about how close we are to the brink. There is not like a literal day-by-day countdown that Trump is aware of that we're not. They are doing everything in their power on the back end to keep it from crashing, but I don't think they're going to be able to stop it. Kansas wheat farmers among those facing crisis as drought hits harvest. People do overestimate the resilience of these systems, People used to remember this for like 10,000 years. Agricultural civilization made sure people remembered this, but we've forgotten now that all it takes is one really bad drought, or hell, a flood, a lot of stuff, really. Bad heat wave. You can just lose like a significant portion of your population in a year or two. It doesn't take much. One bad weather event, yeah. No one's safe? No one is safe. No one is safe. Look at this, man. Raymond Parrish has been farming wheat and corn in northern Oklahoma for most of his life. He said he's seen a lot over the years in this land, both the good and the bad. Any day now, he'll be done harvesting his hard red winter wheat crop, and he said it's likely going to be one of the bad years. He's not alone. Across the 18 states that produce winter wheat, 45% of the crop is in poor or very poor condition, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture. That's following drought, wildfires, and record-breaking high temperatures in the winter and early spring across much of the Great Plains. Parrish is likely to yield only about 30 bushels of wheat per acre. Last year, he was doubling those numbers. Sure. I feel the U.S. being relatively safe from natural disasters of various kinds has been bad for people valuing community. Yeah, well, I mean, it's kind of like how our basically limitless capital market means we've been able to get away with really fucking bad economic policy and monetary policy for decades, but we haven't really felt the consequences of it because we have so much. Like, if any other government was run as irresponsibly in an economic sense as the American government, as the American economy, it would have collapsed ages ago. It's only because our capital markets are so vast that we're able to subsidize these ailing systems for as long as we are. Speaking of, by the way, they're pumping up the QE big time. Apparently, the Q2 money supply has seen its biggest increase since, I think, 2021, as of the past month. That should be a gigantic alarm bell to anyone who's been paying attention to my previous monetary policy segments. U.S. M2 money supply surged by $250 billion in May to a record $23.1 trillion, largest monthly increase since May 2021. They've got the money printers back on. Why? That's debt death spiral. What's M2 again? Money 2. Anyway. Hey, Kowalski, they're talking about the wildfires here. Nebraska's faced a record-breaking year for wildfires with over 800,000 acres burned. One blaze in mid-March, the Morrill Fire, accounted for over 600,000 acres. Nearly 60% of the state's winter wheat crop is in very poor condition, with another 28% in poor condition. So across Nebraska, 88% is in poor or very poor condition. Jesus Christ. 20% of the wheat crop in Kansas has been abandoned entirely. Would inflation still spike if the Fed printed hella money and just didn't tell anyone? The Fed doesn't really have the ability to print money without telling anyone. It's not like they just print physical bills and slip them into cash registers or anything. The way money is reintroduced into the economy kind of has to pass through official channels. Unless they did some really shady back-end stuff, but they wouldn't want to do that because the damage they could do to the accounting would be bad for everyone, not just for everyday consumers, if that makes any sense. If you reached a point where nobody knew what the money supply was, that would be a big bite down on the cyanide pill at the back of your molars moment. You know what I mean? Doesn't it make the prices rise automatically though after a while, I mean? It's really complicated, which is my way of saying I don't fully understand exactly the mechanics by which the disclosure of the increase of the M2 money supply contributes to inflation. It's very complicated. It takes time, and it's variable, and it's affected by a lot of weird stuff. All I know is that the rapid increase of the existing M2 money supply means that we are compensating right now. We're compensating. Wheat is predominantly grown in areas that don't receive much rainfall. Much of what we're seeing is a result, or the failure of the United States getting snow. The western half of the Great Plains also can't irrigate much. Wheat's not generally that important, but it's putting pressure on a fragile system. It's a resilient crop, so it's probably not good that it's in such bad condition.